Jim, the Nasdaq is up 20% over the last month. So is this a sign that it's going to keep moving ahead?
Well,
do we believe in the Nasdaq?
Remember, it's also, I always like to say, people say it's moved up too much. Remember where it's come from. The Nas is the repository of a lot of companies that have tremendous cash positions and the possibility of accelerating growth if you believe we're coming out of recession. They are Caterpillar. They are Ingersoll Rand. They are Union Pacific with good balance sheets that also have, in many cases, product cycles that can really make it. So, Deborah, I think that the obsession with the Nas is justified.
Okay.
Apple Computer was in the mid-'90s because Steve Jobs was sick, okay? But Apple turns out to be a far bigger company, and it's a great innovator. And you back out the $23 billion in cash, you got a decent situation. It's not as expensive.
We've pushed past the job story.
It seems amazingly
we moved way
so.
on. And quickly we moved
Totally.
past it.
I mean, Oracle, that was a better than expected quarter. There's no two ways about it. It was really, really good. Research in Motion had guided down and then beat it. But the point is that Research in Motion is still growing very, very healthily. Genzyme and Gilead in a very out-of-favor sector. Celgene. Genzyme had lab problems, but it's going to come back. Celgene hit on a pre-announcement that basically cut its growth rate to 20%. That has a huge amount of cash. Gilead with a new announcement last night about a possible hypertension drug for last resort for hypertension. I go over, and every one of those has a lot of cash. Cisco, Intel, not doing well. Candidly, and I own Cisco, fractionalistplus.com, not having good quarters, but if you think that the world's going to come back, I think Cisco rallies more than a Manitowoc.
Is getting into a Nasdaq index the way to go?
Well, you know, I always think you can pick them. I always think you can pick them. That's what people like to do, and I think that's a lazy man's way.
Okay.
I mean, Cisco, like I said, is not doing that well, but if you wanted to think that they could have a call worldwide turn, Oracle is doing well. I mean, you kind of pick your spots.
But go to Nasdaq to mine for the good ones.
Definitely.
Okay.
It's where all the action is. And let me just say before we end that Qualcomm has all of those. It's got the great cash, it's got the new product cycle, and it's got the real momentum. And that's why it's one of our biggest positions.
Okay, give me your top 3 names.
For Nasdaq?
For Nasdaq.
Okay, well, Qualcomm would have to be number 1. Cisco, because of the worldwide turn, I think is very, very meaningful. And then just on the fact that there's going to be so much in the AIDS pipeline and so much now in the hypertension pipeline, you got to like this Gilead.
Great.
Thank you.
Top 3 from Jim.